Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. And whichever platforms you're listening to this on, I want to let you know I really do appreciate you. And if you are a subscriber, thank you for being subscribed. But if you are not subscribed yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you're listening to this on YouTube while you're at it, hit that like button because it's like walking into the room and hitting that light switch. We just want to go ahead and brighten up the place. So let's get into this conversation / reality chat, guys. All right, I wanted to have this conversation based on a live that I was listening to yesterday on Sharrell's World channel. I am subscribed to her channel. I have been for several years. I remember, I don't even know like how many subscribers she had when I was subscribed to her channel many years ago, but she's definitely grown over the years. And she does a lot of panel discussions where she and her husband or maybe herself, they'll talk about some topics and then they'll allow other people to hop on and share their opinions and views. And sometimes she has some regulars that'll be on there and whatnot. I've never gotten on a panel, but I definitely am subscribed to the channel, and I don't agree with everything that she says all of the time, but neither does anyone agree with, I believe, anyone all of the time. So there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with people who I don't agree with all of the time. I do want to have this conversation, though, because there was a discussion had about Martell, Holt, and Melody, and it was regarding the custody issues, the court situation, some things that have come out prior to the court situation and after, and some allegations regarding Martell's treatment of the children and all of that stuff. I'm not going to go into all of those details. I tried to find the video so that I could put the link up in the description so that you can go and listen to it and check it out if you have not. But for whatever reason, I wasn't able to pull it up. So I don't know if she took it down because it definitely went on for a while. And I saw some people in the comment section that were none too happy with Sharrell and some of the other panelists who were speaking because of them not, I guess, speaking 100% favorably towards Melody. And here's the thing, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. I am not a fan or stan of anyone. I have people that I admire and I have people that I really don't care for. That's just me. I don't believe that I'm going to call myself a certain name because I admire someone, but the people who are fans of Melody, like true diehard fans, they call themselves Millimeters, or she came up with the name and they have subscribed to it. It's fine. Freedom of choice, right? I am not a millimeter. I don't stand for anyone. I can call someone out on things that are right and I can call someone out on things that are wrong, or I can not say anything, because that's one of the things that I learned growing up, that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. Now, we know that when it comes to Martell, I really don't have anything nice to say, but I will say it. I just will not stay silent, okay? But at any rate, the discussion was extremely, how do we put it? It was a discussion, we'll just say that. And there were some things that Sharrell and some of the panelists said that I agree with, and there's some things that I didn't agree with. But I'm not really here to talk about all of that. What I wanted to discuss was something regarding things that were brought up about Melody and Martell still being in love with each other. And they were saying, there were some people that said that they believe that Melody still is in love with Martell. I don't know what's in her heart. You can never know what's in anyone's heart. We really can't. Now, their actions can reveal what we believe is in their heart, but even the Bible says that the heart is deceitfully wicked, and who can know it? So you really have to be careful with even using your heart and not your head to make decisions. I've made those mistakes in business before, where I was making decisions based on my heart instead of my head, and it was to my detriment, because people will stomp all over you. People just are who they are. So you really have to be careful when you use your heart. In my personal opinion, I do not believe that Melody is still in love with Martell. I do believe that she will always care for him because of all of the years that they had together, and definitely care for him as the father of their 4 children. But being in love with him, I just don't see it. I do believe that her being in the public eye and being on this television show definitely did help to propel her to the place where she had the courage to step away and say, you know what, I'm done with this and I'm moving on. But there were some people who felt like, well, if the show never happened, she would still be with him. Who's to say? We don't know. Anyone can speculate towards that. But what I will say is you can't speculate on, well, if this didn't happen, then this would be what it would be. Because we don't know that. This is where we are. And so because of where we are now, I do believe that Melody is done with him. That's just from what I see based on her actions. And I don't believe that she's putting on for the camera because she did try to make it work again. So it's not that as soon as the camera started rolling, she said, okay, I'm done with this nigga. I just believe that she got to the point where she's tried on multiple occasions, even while the cameras were rolling and the show was airing, to make it work because she was having problems with him from the first season. We saw it. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't intently watch the first season. When I started watching Love and Marriage Huntsville, it was out of just kind of curiosity, but I wasn't intently watching it because at the time, my husband, I had never heard of Huntsville, Alabama before, honestly. So at the time, when I saw the show coming on, I was like, oh my God, Huntsville. My husband had just gotten a job in Huntsville. He was going to be sort of living there, but not really. That had to be his home base, but he would really be living overseas, working overseas, which he has done for many, many years now, coming back and forth. But it was something that was new to me, and it was like, oh my God, I come down here sometimes. So it was just kind of out of curiosity, interest to me, but I wasn't really intently watching it. But based on watching things back, I see that she was trying to make it work, even though it was not a healthy place for her to be in. And if you go back and look at where she was then and what she even looked like then versus now, she definitely looks a lot healthier and definitely a lot happier. And money just won't do that. Money helps, but money gives you access. Money gives you options. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it definitely does assist in it, okay? But her being able to move on, I just previously did another conversation where I discussed the fact that I was talking about Shannon Sharpe and how he made this comment on his podcast talking about, you know, when he interviewed Steve Harvey, talking about women that want to be independent and say they don't need a man. It's not the fact that women don't need a man, but they don't want to be with someone that is going to walk all over them and rule over them or try to. And that is what I believe Martell was doing and attempting to do. And it got to the point where she was able to break out and move on, get the courage to step away from that in spite of having 4 children with this man. But she did. She tried to make it work. But I believe she just got to the point where she's like, I'm tired, I'm fed up, and I'm over this, and I'm done. So in my personal opinion, I do not believe that Melody is still in love with Martell. And I don't even believe that Martell is in love with Melody. I believe that he wants that control again. He misses having what he used to have. He let his good thing go, and she left, of course, but his actions was what caused her to leave. So people like that, they don't even love themselves. So if you don't love yourself, you can't really love anyone else. So I wouldn't even say that he's really in love with her. I believe he selfishly wants to have her again so that he can get back to the place that he was comfortable because he's selfish. And getting back to the other thing that I wanted to discuss that was talked about on the panel, someone made a comment. I believe this person was a therapist licensed or maybe even a doctor, but was saying, you know, please don't diagnose anyone as being narcissistic or diagnose anyone as being a narcissist because you don't have the credentials to do that. Well, obviously, and of course, those of us who are not doctors or licensed therapists can diagnose them, but we never have said that we've diagnosed him. But we can definitely say that based on his actions and what we see, it looks like he carries narcissistic traits and characteristics. And so I wanted to speak to that briefly because I really believe that what this person was saying, she was speaking from a professional aspect, but she can't tell people that they don't have the right to express their opinion. And that's all any of us are even doing. Of course, we haven't said that, yes, I have had him in my office and we, in our practice and in our clinic or firm or, whatever it is, we have diagnosed Martell Holt as being a narcissist. Of course, we haven't done that. So I just felt like that was a moot point when this woman was saying that, because obviously no one on the panel has diagnosed him as being a narcissist. But let me just let you guys know just some of the narcissistic characteristics and traits, which is why I believe a lot of people like myself do say that he appears to be one. But yeah, we haven't diagnosed him. Okay, overinflated sense of self-importance. We definitely see that with the rented suits, but no job except being on Love and Marriage Huntsville and no real other source of income, no real business. He's definitely got an overinflated sense of self-importance. Definitely we can say that about him. Another thing is arrogant or snobby behaviors and attitudes. I don't know if you guys heard about him charging people to do interviews. Like, who do you think you are? You know what I mean? And saying comments like any woman that wants to be with him, they have to be making at least whatever the amount of money was per year. Definitely arrogant and snobby. Definitely. Constant thoughts about being more successful, powerful, smart, loved, or attractive than others. He's definitely displayed that. We've heard him say on multiple occasions how he was the breadwinner. He was the one that was taking care of all of the kids. He was cooking the meals. He was the patriarch of the household. He was the one that made all the business moves. If it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have been in the place that they were. But yet Melody has moved on and he's still struggling. He hasn't been able to get any of his products to be a hit. His children's book that we know that was just bullcrap. He was just doing that to garner sympathy and make it look like, he's this doting father wanting to leave a legacy for his children. Well, good luck splitting that dollar that you got from those books for all 4 of the children that you had with Melody, because you had another one with somebody else. All right. Feelings of superiority and desire to only associate with high status people. I mean, we see that with him now. He's doing this fake relationship with Sharrell. He's discussing Candy and Todd as if he has the right to even speak their names, in my personal opinion, and speaking down about them. But yet he wants to be around these people because definitely based on where he is, these are high status people to him. I'm not saying they're not high status people, but he only wants to associate himself around people like that. So anytime he's on Love and Marriage Huntsville and he looks at his phone, he's giggling, it's Sheree, because he looks at her as a high status person, which I mean, to be honest with you, okay, I'm not even going to go there. You already know what I'm thinking. So you let me know what I'm thinking in the comment section about Sheree. But anyway, need for excessive admiration. He's expressed that by continuously cheating on his now ex-wife. And he made that clear when Nell and her husband, Chris Fletcher, a few seasons back, when they were separating and she had filed for divorce and she was, sitting there listening to this dude say all of these reckless things out of his mouth, talking about how this other woman was making him feel good and she was satisfying me and this and that and the other, because he needs to get that excessive admiration when Melody was dealing with 4 children, trying to run the household, trying to keep things going because he wasn't really a support system, when she should have just been the helpmeet and not the one that was running everything. But he also wanted to get his eggplant sucked and get his wife to jump his bones all of the time when the chick was tired. And she's probably disgusted with the fact that he was always sleeping around. And we know that he was not having what they call safe sex. It's just bullcrap. A sense of entitlement. We know that he's expressed that on so many occasions. Definitely entitled. Willingness to take advantage of others to achieve goals. 100%. 100%. And a lack of understanding and consideration for other people's feelings and needs. Oh, we already know that. And those are just some of the narcissistic traits and characteristics, guys. I am not saying that he has been diagnosed. I definitely have not said that. But I do believe that he displays a lot of the traits of someone who is dealing with narcissism. And a lot of times it is something that is inbred in them as they are growing up based on their childhood and the parents. And we see that his mom is like 100% enabler because she doesn't believe that he needs any help. When he even made mention of going to counseling, which we know is court ordered, okay, she's like, well, what do you need to change for? Because there ain't nothing wrong with you. It's like, okay, you definitely have contributed to this issue. The lack of him having a father in his life, I'm sure it contributed to that as well. But I don't like to use that as an excuse because as we become adults, we all have to make the decisions for our lives. And he could have gotten help way before now, but he doesn't want help because he really doesn't believe that there's anything wrong with him. So will I say that he's still in love with Melody? I don't believe he's in love with Melody. I believe that he's in love with what he used to have and he misses that. Because if he was really in love with Melody, he would not have been doing the things that he was doing to her and doing with other people while he was married to her. He's selfish. He's just not a good person. And so I understood where people were coming from in the comment section where, when it came to that, but I'm never here to try to shut someone's opinion down. I could disagree with them respectfully. That's just how I operate. But I've been hearing that people are actually threatening people and doxing people who they didn't feel was either agreeing with Melody or like Melody or maybe was vouching for Martell, they felt. And I just feel that some people are just taking a lot of this stuff too far. That really is insane to do that. And I just feel that if you really are a fan of Melody, you would try your best to respect her, to not get people in trouble. You know what I mean? And possibly link her to it. I'm not saying that she has anything to do with it, but I believe that you would consider her and not want to go there with people to the point where people I heard were threatening the judge in this case. Like, that is absolutely insane. I don't know what takes over some people's minds when it comes to this show, but I don't think I've ever seen anything like it when it comes to a television show, especially a reality show, where people go so hard and heavy for someone to the point where they are threatening people, possibly, allegedly. It's just insane. I really was shocked by it because there was one of the callers / panelists was only up there for maybe a couple of minutes, but they said that they were on someone else's live and they were speaking about some things. I don't remember exactly what they were saying, but they said that someone started doxing them and threatening them, and now they said they're going to the FBI to have that person investigated. And I was like, is this really happening over reality TV personalities? I get it. Be passionate about what you're passionate about. And sometimes I would say I used to think about reality shows in a way where it's like, oh, this is so stupid. Even though I watch some of them. I don't watch a lot of them, but I watch some of them. And this just happens to be one of them that I do happen to watch when I get the time to. And I would, think, oh, it's just so stupid. These people aren't real, blah, 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 blah. But then people watch sports all the time, and it's a sport. It's a game. People get all riled up and heavy and all of that over these games that people are playing for money. And sometimes some of those sports enthusiasts, they go so hard for their faves on these different teams or whatever, where it can be to the point of obsession. And you really have to learn where to check yourself. And I just don't think that anyone needs to take it that seriously. Like what you like, get, anxious or gung-ho, whatever, over what you like, but you also have to learn how to pull that stuff back and not go too hard and heavy before you get yourself into some trouble. It just is not worth it at all. Who knows how much longer the show is going to be airing? I know Carlos calls it the #1 show on OWN. I'll be honest, even though I do watch the show, that's not really saying a whole lot because OWN doesn't have that many good shows. It used to have Greenleaf on there years ago, which I really didn't even start watching until it was on Netflix. So I didn't even watch it when it was on OWN. But it was a really good show, and it sucks that it was canceled. But I'm just saying, OWN network is no Bravo, and let's just keep it real. So we just have to rein some things in when it comes to how heavy some people are going for their faves on these shows. And I do believe that, unfortunately, I don't know what it is about some people when it comes to going hard and heavy for Melody. I agree with a lot that she has done for the sake of her family, her children, and her mental health and her sanity, because I couldn't imagine what it would have been like to be in a relationship with someone like that. That has to be very, very hard. I mean, I don't, but that is on another level. I deal with someone with PTSD, and I'm even dealing with PTSD myself, so that's hard enough. But someone who has a alleged narcissistic personality disorder, I couldn't even imagine. And, in being in a situation like that, that really is not easy. And courts don't really give people grace where that stuff is concerned, unless, unfortunately, it gets to a point where violence is involved. And to my knowledge, I don't think that it has been, but we don't know everything, because I do believe, like they were speaking about on this panel, that Melody may have tried to, for the sake of her children and not wanting to see their dad in jail, cover or protect him, to not have that happen. Because if she could allow this man to take $17,000 out of her bank account and not go after him and not request child support and all that stuff when they were going through the divorce, because she just wanted to get out, I can only imagine some of the other things that she may not have reported or said because she was trying to protect him. And it happens in life a lot. It does. And sometimes it's not even for the other person, it's for yourself. So I believe for her own peace, she may have not reported everything that may have happened. But I don't believe that Melody is still in love with Martell, and I don't even believe that Martell is in love with Melody. I don't believe he's ever been in love with her. I just believe that he's been in love with himself in terms of what he desires for life, but he really doesn't love himself. You can't really love someone else if you don't really love yourself. And, with all of those things being said, I just also believe that he does display the characteristics of a narcissist. So no, we may not have been able to diagnose him as that, and we don't know if he has been diagnosed as that. He possibly could have been diagnosed, and we just haven't been privy to that information due to HIPAA rules and laws. You know what I mean? But I just don't have a problem with anyone saying that they believe that he is, or their opinion is. But no, none of us are online diagnosing him as a narcissist or, having narcissistic traits. Of course, we haven't diagnosed him as that, but we have the right to say, based on the traits, it definitely looks like he displays those. So we're just calling it like we see it, and that's it. So anyway, guys, if you go to Sharrell's World channel and that video is up, you can check it out. It is pretty lengthy. I was listening to it in the background as I was doing some other things yesterday. So I just happened to listen in and, from time to time look in the comment section. It was like, wow. But, yeah, everyone has the right to their opinion. And I don't believe that Sharrell is, displaying any ill will towards Melody, but she is one of those people that she said it herself that she is biased. If she doesn't like someone, she's going to say it, and if she does like someone, she's going to say it. I didn't hear her say that she dislikes Melody, but I believe that, she was just sharing information that she had based on court records and documents, and she even did admit that, yeah, actually Martell was arrested when he came out and said that he wasn't. And that was maybe a couple of months ago, I believe. Either a month or two ago. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about those things, guys. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. This is Beth, and I'm just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I just wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.